Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Publishing Persuasion. I'm Angela Montoya, author of Sinner's Isle and Cruel Thirst. And I'm here with Melanie Schubert, author of The Severed Cape. R. Not R, like I wanted to hop in here really fast and say that really fast because there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about today, Melanie.
Hmm?
There's a lot of things. There's
Are
a lot
there?
of things. Yeah, at first I'd like to start with you asking me a question of what is the weirdest thing you have in your house? Will you ask me that? Ask me that, please.
I'm so ready. What is the weirdest thing you have in your house, Angela Montoya?
Well, you know what, Melanie? Let me show you. Let me show you what I received in the mail the other day. I don't even like touching whatever this is. It is, for those who are just listening, it's a bottle cap opener shaped like a freaking just roided out, just super muscular kangaroo. But his bottom half, is this a kangaroo ball sack, Melanie?
Did you read the tag? Read the
Um,
tag out loud.
oh my God, I didn't see that top part. Okay. Yeah, I kept the tag on because I did not want to take this thing off. Guys, oh my God, I didn't even see the red little ball. Okay. This is the pure genuine kangaroo scrotum. This is a genuine Australian souvenir made in Australia, just so you know.
Mm.
This genuine product was harvested and processed in accordance with MP and WS rules and regulations. Well, thank God for that. Yeah, so I am here holding holding a kangaroo scrotum.
Yes. Yes,
Thank
you are.
you. Thank you, Melanie, for this wonderful,
A cherished
wonderful.
heirloom it will be, no doubt.
And
Hand
can I
it
just,
down.
yeah, pass down generation to generation a kangaroo scrotum from it's made in Australia.
Yeah.
And there's like a little red ball sack. I didn't even
I didn't
realize
even
it.
see that.
Yeah. So thank you, Melanie.
Just
I have to say it also smells exactly like I would imagine a kangaroo scrotum to smell. It smells like
Okay,
it's
I just love that you are sticking that kangaroo scrotum to your nose and smelling it. But I also
this.
smelled it because it's very, you can't know, it's very leathery. It's giving like freshly tanned leather. I didn't stick it
Yeah.
to my face like that.
No, it's giving scrotum. It's giving hairy kangaroo scrotum. So now whenever I'm on a show and anybody asks, "Hey, what is the strangest thing you own?" You know, I used to have this like demon goat, but now I
Demon
have a
goat
can
cannot compare to roid kangaroo scrotum.
yeah, it's a genuine scrotum, guys.
Listen.
Harvested. So thank you, Melanie.
Listen, you're so very welcome. I just thought that you needed to have this iconic bit of Australian merchandise. I really did want to send you a purse because they also make them into purses.
Oh my freaking
So
oh
maybe
my
I'll have to add to the
no.
scrote collection as time goes on.
Yeah, the next 100th episode, I want the purse. I
Yeah,
want the purse, which I also
100%.
have the shirt on today, which I know I'm premature,
No,
but
I love it.
I
I was
had
gonna
to.
wear mine
Pew,
too.
pew.
And we're literally like pew pew.
Yeah, yeah.
Show the
So,
back. Show the back.
oh,
Okay, but you have to say something or the camera will just be on me, just
well,
looking at
what does it say? It says 100 episodes, I think.
it.
Wait, what does it say
Yeah,
on
it
there?
does. I'm just
Okay.
cackling. Yes, the back says 100 episodes, but I'm glad you're wearing it, even
Yeah.
though, look, I did prematurely get excited. Like we're still a few episodes away, but
Wait, what episode are we? How far
this
off are we?
this is 97, so we're close.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay, yeah, I can totally wear this shirt. Like, We've
That's
earned
what I
this.
thought. And to be honest, I thought everything was going to take way longer getting stickers printed, getting.
Yeah.
And who cares? It's building excitement anyway, like we're coming up to 100. We'll celebrate the whole time. And then once you have the 100, who celebrates after? It's coming up to it.
Yeah, we're celebrating every episode. No, like it the 100th episode came freaking fast.
Yeah.
My kangaroo scrotum came really fast. I'm really grateful about that. No, same with your gift. I literally ordered that thinking it wouldn't get there. Like I was like, oh no, hopefully it comes on time, but she's there. So
Your
we're
gift
good.
made me ugly cry so hard. And I have to confess, I thought it was para because we both love Ghibli. And so I didn't anticipate in my brain that you would think to send me a Ghibli gift. So when you
Well,
did, and I was very emotional that week, my hormones were running amok. And and then this beautiful gift landed on my door. And she plays. Have you heard her tune? Her tune is
yes,
fine. She
that's so
plays a
cool.
little song. It's so
Yeah.
darling.
Yes. Well, happy early birthday,
Thank you.
Melanie Scoobert.
And I had to
Um,
tackle because you had sent me this like beautiful, moving, heartfelt gift, and I was like sitting here waiting for your kangaroo scrote to arrive. Which I feel like sometime last year it happened in exact reverse.
yes,
Can't
yes.
remember what, but it definitely happened.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
just the way things should have worked out. I will never ever forget my scrotum.
No. And
I will
if you don't
never.
whip it
Yeah.
out at like family gatherings around the fire to crack open your beers, I'll cry. I'll cry tears of Australians. I don't know what. I was going down a dark hole, so I just kind of cut that short.
Oh, yeah. No, I have to have a photo shoot with the scrotum.
Please, in your shirt.
Yeah, I was laying down and my Armando, my partner, he put this on my head. And
I was like, the boys in your house are gonna go
yes,
nuts for this gift. I
yeah,
have a feeling it will end up in their possession at some point.
100%. They were going ham with that thing. So, and I mean, she's girthy.
She is girthy. They
Or
really
he, they like
they
this
really filled it
thing.
out.
It smells like a scrotum, like a hairy
I hope you
kangaroo
know I
scrotum.
am gonna use footage of you sniffing that scrote to promote the podcast at some
Yeah,
point.
it's just me.
But this is why
Oh,
I don't, it would be.
that was
Careful
too
because they
much.
probably treat it with chemicals. Don't sniff it too hard.
Oh,
Mm.
that was that was too much. That was too much scrotum in my nostrils.
She's high on scrote. I cannot. We're gonna get
Whew,
cancelled.
whew.
But do
It's
you
up, it's
understand
up
now
there.
why when we were talking about like icons and somehow I was thinking to myself, like, what would an American
Oh
like
yeah.
you're not gonna be sending bald eagle scrotes over. Does
Oh, I don't
America
know what
have
those
stuff
look
like that?
like. Oh gosh, I gotta look into what an American Eagle scrotum looks like.
Okay, but if it was an
Oh,
eagle, that would be illegal and very bad.
that's true. That is very true, Melanie. Yes,
Yeah,
we don't
because
do that.
not
We don't do
not
that.
all animals are acceptable. And even this, I questioned whether I could send it to you because I feel like it would offend some people for several reasons.
I'm glad it made it. I'm really glad it made it through customs.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think like what an American
Mm,
would send. And I feel like it would, who the frick knows? Who the frick
real.
knows?
There's not like
Gosh.
iconic animal parts.
Well, gosh, I don't know. What do you think of when you think of like an American, like it would be the
Mm.
eagle, but like a jacked up, like roid, like machine gun eagle. It'd
Possibly
probably just
like
be a gun.
the high voltage candy, like the
Oh.
I
So
I
just like bad, like yeah, like
bad.
red dye 40.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I
Just
saw a
like
scary reel the other day, like comparing some American. I don't know how bad it is over there, but every now and then a reel ends up in my feed and I'm like, America, are you okay? And they were
the
just
answer is
like
no.
comparing like some cereals and stuff, the
Oh
ingredients
yeah.
in the American one and then the same brand in the UK or Australia or whatever. And I was just like,
Yeah. We
God,
need
why did they put this random shit in there? It's not
yeah.
necessary.
It's because of corporate greed. Our
Yeah.
food industry runs everything. And I would say,
Real.
yeah, and they don't care about the humans they feed, it feels
No,
like.
they
So
don't. Hey.
we got to work on that. We have some
Yeah.
things. We have some greed
There's
issues
some
here.
greed that's gone out of
Capitalism.
control. Capitalism,
She has run amok. Capitalism has run
patriarchy.
amok. Yeah.
Let's just call it all out right now.
Let me tell you everything that's wrong with my country. Uh,
But you know what's right with your country?
what?
It is now in possession of a genuine Australian kangaroo scrotum.
Yes. And us Americans, we sure love Australian things. We love Australians here.
That's right. Don't
There's
you
always
forget it.
one.
It's always
Uh,
fun.
It's always one. I have to bring up something else that a friend DM'd me on the side after I
Yeah.
think it was our last episode with Amelie. Remember how you gave me the this or that
Oh yeah.
questions? One was sleep with snakes for a year. I think in like a freaking coffin or something,
Yeah.
or cut off my pinky toes. Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
this
yeah,
question?
yeah.
So my friend Laura, who I love her account. I just love her. Her account on Instagram is reading while fat, and
Oh
she
yeah,
just like
yeah.
reads. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
I
she
love her.
interacts with our pod page a lot, so
Oh,
I know.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So she mentioned she wanted me to know pinky toes are quite important for balance.
I was wondering that when you
Yeah.
said it, whether it would screw up your ability to stand.
Yeah. And she let me know it's true. We need a pinky toe. And I have to
Mhm.
say, it's funny because, like, literally right before she texted me, I almost fell down the stairs, but my pinky toe saved me.
Really?
She stuck out, like, and saved me. So, hey, but
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
I just went, see?
Pachoo!
So I'm still thinking about it. I'm still not sure if I would just chop the pinky toes off
The
because
thing
snakes,
is, the thing is, you're a part witch, as we know. I
yeah.
feel like if you had to sleep in the coffin with snakes, it could become a part of your whole persona, and you would
Oh,
like charm these snakes. Also,
ooh,
can you imagine the
yeah.
content?
The content.
Montoya, snake charmer, and all.
Oh,
It'd go
yes.
off. Maybe you
Oh,
should think about this.
you know what? Okay, I'm changing my answer. Changing it. Sleeping with
Yeah.
snakes for a whole year. Content queen with my little kangaroo scrotum
Yeah.
and snakes. Yeah, I
Well,
there
I
we
mean,
go.
animal content is where it's at. Like I follow this button quail guy. He's got these little tiny, tiny quails, and it
Oh,
just makes me so happy seeing them. And
yes.
he's like living off the money he makes from having that account.
Wow.
I'm like, shit, maybe I should be nurturing and raising button quails instead of writing books. And snakes,
Something to
snakes.
think. Snakes and quails. I freaking love quails though. They're the cutest
Cute.
birds.
They're
They
just
are.
tiny, dumb chickens. I mean,
Yeah.
chickens are
Do you
already.
have quail? You guys have quails there?
Yeah, it's not a big thing though. Like they've tried to make it catch on in fine dining, like that quail eggs
Oh,
something fancy. And
yeah.
quail roasts as well. They
Ah,
tried to make it catch on in MasterChef. Do you guys have that there?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they kept bringing it up over and over and over, and I'm like, okay, we get it. But
The Aussies aren't into the quails.
it's not that we're not into it. I think it's just a very small bony bird, you know? It's like eating a dove or like a pigeon or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's not much.
Have you eaten many pigeons?
I don't think I've had pigeon. I've definitely had quail. I took that seriously.
She had to think about that in her
You
yeah,
had to
fine
think
dining.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, what
What's
are
the
you up to?
weirdest thing you've eaten?
Oh, not much. I don't think. I don't think I do weird things.
No, nothing.
I don't think so.
You
I
haven't
don't
had like
I
those century eggs or something. I haven't had that.
Oh no. I went to the Philippines, gosh, years ago, and they had balut, which is like the eggs that have been like I think they're like 19-day-old eggs or something. So like it's
Mm,
a little bit formed inside the chick is like a little bit formed in there.
mm,
And yeah, like friends that were eating it because I have friends that, were Filipino and they're just like,
mm.
yeah, this is like they're so
Yeah,
excited, but couldn't do it. I chickened out. I was talking a big game, like, yeah, no
yeah.
problem. And then I was like, ah, no. I don't yeah, I can't honestly think I've eaten like anything. Wow. Wow. Poor me. I'm really not adventurous now that I really think about it. I mean, we've just done the chicken and the
I
steak
mean,
and
you
the,
had that koi fish almost.
well, yeah, but hey, that's still fish, you know?
And I think a lot
Um,
of it comes down to what you were raised eating, like if you grew up eating it and it feels perfectly normal, then yeah, like it's probably going to I actually try to push myself really hard to like eat different cuisines and like different because like I didn't grow up eating like growing up really conservative, there was a whole bunch of foods we didn't eat. Like we didn't grow up
oh,
eating pork or like a bunch of different seafood, like crab, shrimps, all this stuff. So like I didn't even know
oh,
how to cook it. And the texture of shrimps and stuff freaked me out initially, but I was like, everybody loves prawns. I was like, I need to learn how to
yeah.
eat this and like so I can appreciate it. So I kept like trying it, trying it, trying it. And eventually I was like, oh yeah, I see it. But it took ages to like acclimatize myself to it.
Yeah. That
Mm.
isn't that something that you didn't, so do you like it now? Do you like shrimp now?
Yeah, I do like it. It
That's
wouldn't be my
good.
first order necessarily, but
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I can really enjoy it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm more like a texture like I can't because we have like in a lot of Mexican food like like the stomach lining
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just a texture girl. Like if it's
Texture, I
too
agree. But that's why I
yeah.
can't do oysters because the texture freaks me
Oh,
out.
yeah,
So there's
that
a
that
lot
one's a
I've
tough
tried.
one.
That's a tough one. I cannot understand why everyone's so into it, but people are super into it. But I'm like salty goober texture, like, ooh, I just don't think I can.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a thing because we'll have them during like I think it's summertime we have them but my father-in-law always like he puts sauce and the sauce is so good that you could literally eat anything with that sauce he
Gotcha. That's
makes.
smart.
And so we just like slurp with the sauce and it's all about the sauce.
Yeah.
But yeah, the texture is not it's not good.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't feel
Well,
good about that. But back to writing things. How's everything going for you?
going good. It's going good. Yeah, we received some really exciting news yesterday. So, the thing I was hoping would happen has happened. I'm in my vague tweet era. So, yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to start working on a project again because I think this
Mm.
last like few weeks I've been in this it's what is this? Is it March? I haven't
March,
really
baby.
I haven't really and truly written like I've been farting around with like fun ideas.
Yeah.
Like working on like a little
Mm.
Santiago like mini story, which would be fun. Like just little things. But
Yeah.
I haven't really done like dug into a project, which because I've been wanting to read more than anything.
You've
So
been killing it on the reading front though, and like
I
maybe your
have.
brain needed that break anyway from like
Yeah.
working. You've been grinding, baby. Like you've pumped out many
Yeah.
projects and you're hustling. Maybe that was the good that it wound up being a little break.
Yeah. I needed it. I 100% did. And I don't feel
Yeah.
guilty about not writing
Mm.
at all. Because at first I was like, oh, I gotta, keep hustling, keep writing, keep working. But
Mm.
truly, I will burn out if I don't stop and
Yeah.
just read and read great books. And so yeah, it's been
I
fun.
I love that. I actually think I've been thinking about it. Like, I actually think it's terrible advice to write every day in hindsight. I really think you need breaks. Like, it
Yeah.
it's definitely like if you just keep going without a pause and keep that hustle mindset constantly. Like it's not so much don't write every day, but it's like if that looks like burnout and it's feeling like
Mm.
burnout, it's probably not healthy.
That is very, very true. That is very true.
I'm proud
Yeah.
of you taking your breaks, balancing it. Look at you.
Look at me. I'm a new woman. Yeah, it's just the kangaroo scrotum staring at me. I think it really
Mm.
changed me.
It's a boon to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it really grounds me. It grounds me. But no, it's my favorite thing.
You
I
just
love
have to
it.
carry it with you as a good luck charm.
Yeah, just everywhere I go. Yeah. No, but no, I think the hustle and grind thing is great and it's motivating, but
Yeah,
it's not like healthy, like you were saying, in the long run of
no.
just go, 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 which is Western culture, hustle, make that money, which we love money. It's obviously it helps to have.
That's healthy.
But it's very nice to have,
Mm.
but also having moments of just like letting your brain relax. It's like you were
Mm.
saying in our interview with Paige, like touching grass.
Yeah.
Truly, like just having those moments to breathe is so, so valuable and important. So
Yeah.
yeah, reading has been great. It's so fun. I forgot how fun it was because I was a reader first before I was a writer, and I
Mm.
love reading. So,
Seriously, I can't tell you how much I love to hear it because, like, something that's been driving me nuts in our industry, but in industries in general, is just like there's so much talk about mental health and self-care and avoiding burnout. But it's kind of like I saw this reel the other day and it was just in a loop. It was like, we need to talk about mental health. Yes, let's talk about mental health. Everybody, let's talk about it. I'm so glad we brought it up. Let's talk about it. I'm so glad you brought it to my attention and just looping and looping and looping. And I was like, that's like
mm,
literally it. It's almost like until people experience chronic burnout, they don't take it seriously
yeah.
or like the conversations or the need for it or whatever. And even when they do, it's like people are just kind of forced to like pull away and reset and then try to pretend to step foot back in like the messy capitalist machine, you know? But so
Yeah.
that's why I want to draw attention to it. It's so good and so necessary to just hear examples of successful authors who are
Oi.
like, I need my breaks. I want to read. I want to rest. And seeing how, yeah, you're a fucking hustler, you know? And make no mistake about it, anyone. This girl, this woman
Mm.
hustles. But
Hmm.
like to see the balance of that is so fucking important, you know?
Yeah. No. Fuck yeah, it is. Like I feel
Mm,
like it wasn't a resolution, but my goal for this year, for 2024, was to find like the mental
mm,
headspace, like clear it up a little bit because
yeah,
I feel like I really went so hard right before debut, and my brain was so scrambled and oh, I should do this, I need to do this, I didn't do this.
yeah.
And my brain was never quiet. And
Mm,
so I really, really want the quiet this year, whatever,
yeah,
however I find it. And just sitting with the book is really nice because it's letting my brain settle on something else, like a fun story that I'm not having to critique, I'm not having to
yeah.
tweak. I can just let it be. And watching shows and getting outside and just like having that quiet, which I know I'm sure you do with the dogs all the time, and
Oh
just
my
sitting,
gosh,
'cause you're
yeah.
always out there sitting on the grass with your little gang.
Yeah. Yesterday is the perfect example. Like I've said on the pod before, around my periods, I tend to like have extra neurospicy, extra anxiety, extra panic attacks and everything. And like I found myself yesterday, I'm taking the dogs a few more days. And I was like, okay, well, I'm so good with the dogs now. I know I can write as well and rah rah. Because I used to just be like, I've got the dogs, I'm not gonna do other work today. But lately I can because they're not puppies anymore. And
Mm.
I was like, yep, I'm gonna, I haven't ridden in a few days, gotta get back on that horse, rah, rah. But I'd just finished my period and I was feeling so emo and depleted and just wanting to just blob around. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it took me a while to be like, I am not like giving up or failing by not working this one day. I
Yeah.
am giving
Mhm.
myself a gift by being like, hey. And so I did, in the end, I did. I literally sat out in the park with the dogs for hours. I came
I
home and I
love that.
played a game on my phone. Like, just
Yes.
random stuff that just kind of felt like holiday mode. And
I
it's
love
like,
that.
yeah.
No, it just reminded me, I just saw Eric Smith, who we've had on the show, who
Mm,
we love.
we love.
He just posted on Twitter, aka X, but who calls
Yeah.
it that? This was his post, and it literally just aligns with that. What's his? He
Mm,
said, "Sometimes I'm playing a video game and I see the hours I've sunk in, and I get upset. I could be writing." And then I remember relaxing is an important part of refilling the well. So
mm.
go chase that fantasy RPG love interest that seems like they'd step on you. Trust the process. And
Whew.
it's just like, yep,
Yes.
we're all dealing with it, of this like idea of like
Yeah.
I'm wasting time sitting here. But no, you're not.
You're not wasting time. And like, I don't know why we've been programmed to feel guilty for taking that time off. Like, when you're a kid, you don't feel that. It just feels like
Mm.
a regular, you have so much of that time when you're a kid, you're bored. But I wonder when was the last time a lot of adults felt bored? It's like something I purposely try to like sit with. If I'm feeling bored, I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, let's like just sit with it. How does it feel? And a lot of times that bored feeling is when I'll be like, boom, new book idea. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
you've just fully leveled your mind out to just be like, oh yeah, this is boredom. And it feels like actually good. My brain needs this like reset.
Yes.
Well,
It needs the
however it is.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And it's
love
not
that.
really proper rest if the whole like what I'm working on now is I'm good at like taking those things and choosing them because I need them. I'm not good yet at switching off the part of my voice that says this is a waste of time. This is a way why are you wasting your time? Rah rah rah. So I'm trying to like challenge that more and more and be like, so?
Yeah.
And says who?
Yeah.
Says who? Who said it was a waste of time to rest? Capitalism.
Mm.
Fucking
Mm-hmm.
capitalism and bosses who just want to. That's what I said to my husband the other day. I was like, ultimately, like your job will always want more. Like
Yep.
if you're a good worker, your job could have you working for 24/7, 7 days a week, and they
Yep.
would be thrilled because you're such a great worker. But like ultimately, you cannot. It's
Mm.
just human to need to like break and reset.
That's it. Oh,
Mm.
damn.
Have you
Yep. This
felt it in
conversation.
yourself, like taking some time off? Does it feel different?
Yeah, no, it does. It feels like peaceful in so many
Mm,
ways. Like of just being like, I don't need to open my laptop right now. Like,
mm,
no, I can just sit here and read. And
yeah,
but it did feel like it's like a retraining of
yeah,
every instinct in your body of like, nope, get up. You
yeah.
got this, you could do this, you could do that.
Mm,
Because all those things will always be there. You could always get up and
mm,
work or put your laundry away or chores. Like there's always a million things that you have to do and will always be there.
mm,
But that time of just like, no, I'm taking this time to just sit and be
yeah,
bored and relax. It's what we need. Um,
yeah,
we all need to work on it. So I do feel different, honestly. I feel a lot more peaceful. Um, and I feel also excited to start writing again,
that's it.
like rejuvenated, like, oh, yeah, okay, I've been sitting here, I'm ready to dig in because I've given
Yes.
myself this break. So,
That's it. And that was the other thing I was going to say. Like my mood yesterday and today could not be more different.
mm,
Yesterday, I let myself sit in that kind of like lull, that kind of like place of like a winter moment. Everything feels
oh,
like dying and shrinking. And
yeah,
I cannot tell you like giving myself space to do that. And then today I woke up and I was like, It's a new day. Everything
Yes.
feels new. You know that song? This is so wanky. You know that song, the Good Charlotte one? It's a new day, but it all feels old. It's a good life. Yeah. I feel like, do you know it?
I mean, I've heard the band. I'm sure I
My
do.
gosh, I'm gonna have to educate you. That was my band when I was like,
Ah,
yeah.
okay,
Anyway, like
okay.
I had in my head, it's a new day, but it all feels new. Instead of like, but it
Oh,
all feels old. I'm like, it's a new day, but it all feels new. And I was like, yes, bitch, claim the day. And that's the thing. Like, I think
yeah,
maybe there's a fear that sometimes if you give yourself those grace days, something you'll like lose the positive part, especially maybe with people like us who are always like fighting to keep that positive mindset.
yeah.
But like, it's needed too. And then, yeah, today I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's tackle this.
Yes, yes. You need to energize before you jump into battle, whatever it is. Like I think of athletes. I mean,
Mm.
my brother's a football coach,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
just think I remember, I mean, even in high school, all the boys would go to like a spaghetti dinner the night before and they'd eat all the carbs and like get themselves ready and just enjoy themselves, just bullshitting, and then the next day they're ready to go out and battle on the field.
Mm.
And so, treat your body, treat your mind right, because it really and truly will energize you in the long run. It's just better for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that energize us, our guest, Paige Terlip, the Paige Terlip,
Yes.
literary agent extraordinaire.
Yes. Extraordinaire.
Yeah, we were so lucky to have her on
Yeah,
today. And
we
like
were.
literally just one of the most refreshing agent conversations we've had because I mean, they're all so great, but I feel like she really came with like a open, like platform, an open, what? An
You're
open,
you're just like an offering.
an open offering.
Yes, of information.
Yeah, like she's not someone who just says, "Oh, I want things to be accessible." She makes it accessible, you know? Like she
Ooh.
made the information so open, so she's just direct, honest, authentic. And I think it's like really what's part of missing in our industry, you know, like just having more of those conversations so you just know where you're at, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I love it. I love it for all of us to listen to her
Yes.
because
And
truly there's so much good information.
yeah. And make sure, listeners, do listen till the end of the
Yeah.
episode. I would not miss it if I was you, if you're a querying writer in the trenches. It is a what?
Nothing. Go on. Go on.
No, how can I go on now?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It felt like a threat. It felt very threatening.
Did it? Because I came in
No.
close.
Yeah, I
Jimmy.
think it was a subtle lean in of just like listen or else, motherfuckers.
Listen or else you will miss out on a very cool opportunity. So that's all I'll say about that. But how are we going on time? Yeah, well, let's read her bio now and then
Yeah. We
if
don't have to do
we
anything after that. We can read the bio and be done. We don't have we don't have to go all the way until we get kicked off.
but I do love it.
I know, I know. Every time it butts us off of Zoom, I cackle. Someone's like, "Yep,
Me
that was
too.
us." Yeah.
You want to
Well,
read
would
it
you?
today?
Sure. Yeah. These look like easy words. I can do these.
You've just set yourself up.
I know. Oh no, I did. Okay, here we go. Paige has worked at ABLA since 2017. She comes to agenting with a background in marketing, design, and freelance editorial. She's worked at Charlesbridge Publishing, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and a ranch in the Rockies.
Mm.
She has an MA in children's literature and an MFA in writing for children from Simmons University. If she's not reading, you'll find her practicing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, rewatching the Great British
Mhm.
the Great British Baking Show, or hiking with her Husky-Shepherd mix.
Mm.
That is the Paige Terlip, y'all.
The Paige Terlip.
Yeah.
I just saw something again and I
I
have to
know.
ask you, have you
No,
got an infestation of moths in your house? Because I keep
no,
seeing them flying around when we're recording.
there's nothing in here. And that's why I'm really scared that there is a ghost in here.
There's nothing.
No,
They're
I think
just
it's a
insects,
ghost.
babe. They're
No,
just
it's
insects.
not. It's not because I've seen it. I saw it behind me. There's nothing in here. I'm
The
quite
ghost
sure.
of Cloaca's past.
Yeah, I think so. I think
You know what it
because
could be?
what?
Sometimes when like the sun is streaming through and the dust hits at a certain angle on the camera, could be that. But it just looks
Melanie,
like a moth.
Melanie, it's a ghost.
Shit.
Yeah, it's
It's
an
a
orb.
ghost from this book.
It
Well,
might
I don't know
be.
if there's a ghost in it yet, but no.
No, get to the end, Melanie. No, I watch a lot of ghost shows. I love Ghost Adventures, and I'm quite sure that's an orb.
Ooh,
Yeah. So,
is that scary?
yeah. So let's bring on page. Let's bring on page. I'm freaking out right now. No, I honestly, every time I've seen it behind me before,
Yeah.
but it's only when I'm on the show with you that I see these things.
Oh, you know what it is? It's Frangela.
Ew.
She's summoning her locust plague.
Ew, Melanie.
But
Are you
I'm
trying to
like
scare me?
90% sure it's just a very fast moth because I've seen them
But I don't
fluttering
see it.
around. It's not giving ghost, but I'm just concerned that,
Oh, are you a ghost expert?
well, maybe.
'Cause you're over here so confident it's not giving
I'm not a
ghost. You
ghost in
said.
I'm not a insect, but I'm see, I can't even see, but I know insects and it's moving like an
Oh.
insect.
Oh, I didn't know you were an insect queen over here. But it makes sense. You
I'm not an
Aussies.
insect queen, but I've just always had like affinity for plants and animals. For example, I just
Yeah.
won myself, not insect, but plant related. I just won myself $100 from my brother-in-law because when we were over at him and his girlfriend's place, we went outside and he was showing me the garden and he's like, "Oh yeah, and I just planted this grapevine here." And I was like, "No, that's not a grapevine, honey. That's a fig." And he was like, "What?" He's like, "No, I got it from my friend at school." He's like, "It's definitely a grapevine." And I was like, "No, no. I grew up with fig trees." I was like, "It's definitely a fig." And he was so adamant. It pissed me off. And I was like, "I will bet good money because I know it's a fig." So
Uh-huh.
first he was like, "Fine." It's like $20. I was like, "I will bet you 100 that that is a fig." I
Oh.
was like, "This bitch could make some money here."
Get
Because
that
I,
hustle on. Get that hustle on.
right? Because I was like 99.99999%. I was like, that little mini 0.1% was just on the off chance that there was a plant I hadn't seen before. But I knew it was a fig. Anyway, after months and months and other assessments, he just handed me this bag of like change that he'd been collecting.
Oh.
Just to be petty, he gave me like a bag of we call it shrapnel, like silver
Little,
and gold
so,
change.
yeah.
And he was
Oh
like,
my
"It's a
God.
fucking fig." You're right. So,
If yeah.
don't.
Okay, it's a freaking moth. What do you want me to say, Melanie?
Okay.
It's a moth. You
No,
win.
no, no, you win. It's an orb ghost. Have fun with that.
Right, you are the green witch, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
Go back to your serpent coffin. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Paige? Welcome.
Thanks. How are you?
Oh, we're so good. Your background setup is amazing.
Oh, thank you. This was like a pandemic project because I had been collecting stuff forever and I just hadn't had the time and focus to put it all together. But now I finally have a gallery wall.
It's working. It is
So
working.
pretty. I feel like we all wound up with like some very crafty little corners over COVID days.
It was maybe the only project that actually was finished. Like I think I started 12,000 new hobbies, but this is the only thing I actually completed.
Yeah, that sounds right. And it
Relatable.
looks great. Yeah. You did well. You did very well.
Thank you.
Well,
Well, welcome.
welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you here today.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're pumped. We always love having agents on. Our listeners just love hearing from all of you. So thank you for joining us. It's so fun to get into your brains. Um,
Yeah, hopefully there's some good stuff up there. I don't really know anymore.
yeah, who knows anymore, right? Well, do you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I am Paige. I live in Denver, Colorado. I'm an agent with the Andrea Brown Literary Agency, and I rep everything from picture book authors and illustrators all the way through to adult fiction and nonfiction. So,
Mm.
obviously more specialties within the age ranges. So it's not just everything under the sun, but I do like the variety of getting to work with so many different types of projects.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You run the gambit with all the different genres and age groups. That's really fun. I'm sure that makes it kind of fun just to be able to bounce around to different stories too. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like I get to use different parts of my brain, which is good for me. Keeps it
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few random questions we love to ask just to get to know our people a little better. So, can you tell us what is the strangest thing you own?
Oh my gosh. Okay. The strangest thing I own. Wow, I feel like this is a good question. And now I'm like, what is the answer?
yeah.
I think, well, so I like to do a lot of like crafty things. This is sitting on my desk, so I'm going to show you it, but
Oh, yes.
I
I
made
love
this
a visual aid.
ceramic wolf head. It's weird. It's my David Bowie wolf. It's very weird. So I guess maybe that counts. And it was just sitting in front of me and it wanted me to talk about it. So
Yeah, I could feel it. I sensed it as soon as it panned to us
Mm.
and the eyes connected. I was like, yeah, I want it
it
to be
wanted
talked
to be
about.
featured. I haven't hung it on the wall yet, so it needed a little attention.
It's really
Someday.
reminding me of like this possessed looking ceramic goat I sent Angela at some
Yeah.
point, and it's
Yeah,
perfect.
it
Yeah.
is. We all have
It's,
to have a little bit of weird wildlife in our
Yeah.
houses somewhere.
oh, yeah, all the time, everywhere. Okay, what is one thing that you think about way too often?
Oh, I probably think about dangling participles and comma splices too often. And I'm definitely that obnoxious friend who's like in the text, like you use the wrong form of they and they are there and there. I don't call them out, but like in my head, I'm thinking it. So that's probably something that I think about more often than most people.
That
I
is
love
funny.
it.
Well,
Oh, hello,
we've
friend.
got a visitor
Also, my
behind
dog.
you.
I think about her way too often, and I talk about her probably more than anyone wants to actually hear.
Oh, well, no.
No.
I mean, we can have the whole show just about the dog because she's gorgeous.
Yes.
She's a
She
sweetie.
sensed mine just came and sat right on my foot while I was setting up. And I was like, okay, she doesn't usually do that. They sensed each
They
other's.
did. They did through
It's
the
that,
internet.
yeah, it's that
Yeah.
wolf connection. They just
hmm
feel it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Totally.
feel it.
And what
Makes
about
sense.
like one of your most random or funny, or it could be moving memories that you have?
Wow, this is a big one. Related to publishing or just like in
Just
general life?
anything.
Anything.
Funny or moving or memorable? I
What's like
think
the story that you tell people when you get like, say you're at a party and you're like, you've got this one story that you like fall back on.
this is great. I mean, I feel like I backpacked 50 miles of the Colorado Trail. I would say that's probably a
Wow.
very memorable thing. And I've done a lot of traveling and like fun, exciting, like adrenaline filled things like bungee jumping and skydiving and cage diving with great white sharks and all sorts of like very cool stuff. So I think probably my most memorable things have to do with nature and like being in the outdoors. And,
That's amazing.
something about like backpacking when you're just like way out there and you may not even see another human for the time that you're out there. It's
Wow.
fun. I think that's pretty special.
That's amazing. Absolutely wild. I'll just live through you because it's not something
It's
I
not
could
for
ever do.
everyone.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you do it like in a group with a group, or was it just you out in the wilderness having
My
like a
mom and I
spirit?
actually did
Your
part of
mom
the
and
Colorado
you.
Trail together. Yeah. Yeah. So she's my backpacking buddy.
Badass.
She is the real badass.
Oh
And I
my
kind
God,
of
that
just
is
want
so
to
cool.
hear a little bit about the shark cage. Just like just a
Oh
little snippet, like memorable
yeah. Yes.
moment from like because I'm terrified of those things.
Yeah, we'd like to know
Yeah.
why, is what
Why?
Melanie wants.
Well, why not? I guess. Like, I don't know. I was in South Africa and it was so fun. I mean, it honestly didn't really feel unsafe at all. I don't know. Maybe I was also just like so disassociating a little bit, but it just was so cool and just like majestic to see these huge animals that I really only have seen on TV or in like an
Yeah.
aquarium behind glass. It was like they were right there. And the company that I used was like they did it in like an ethical way. So it didn't feel like it was, they're not like overly chumming the water. So they weren't like really aggressive. It was just like kind of beautiful and just they
Wow.
were, you don't always like this with this company, they were like, we can't always guarantee you because we're not doing it in this like really aggressive way. And so it just made it feel better too, because it was kind of special that they like came by while we were there. I don't know.
God, that is amazing. That is spectacular. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
maybe a little bit.
Is that why you wanted to become a literary agent? Like
God,
how did we get here? What made you want to become an agent?
this is a great question, and honestly, did not ever put those two things together. But I do feel like there is like adrenaline spikes in agenting, and you have to
Yeah.
put out fires and kind of respond with a calm head in like stressful situations. And then there's also the like really great good news that gets you all excited and your adrenaline pumping then too. So it's not why I became a data literary agent, but I guess it is kind of a reason why maybe I enjoy it.
Mm.
I think I became a literary agent because I love books and I think the craft of writing is magical. There's just something about being able to string together sentences to create character, to create story. It's like such an exploration of your imagination. And the fact that people do that and then we can buy the books and read them and they're beautiful objects, but also just like it's so inspiring. And so I think that's why I was really drawn to it. Also because I love being on the writer side of the fence.
Mm.
Like I think editors are sort of wizards in their own way because they're able to sort of manage the expectations of these like corporate companies with also honoring the creatives and their vision for these projects and writing P&Ls. But I kind of like that I don't have to navigate all of that. Like I get to just be the writer's champion. And, obviously I know about the business side of things and I have those hard conversations, but it's all coming from a place of supporting the writer versus supporting like the product. I mean, they go hand in hand, but writer first. So I like that.
Yeah, I
Very
love
cool.
that. It's like the perfect meshing probably of like the yin yang parts of your personality, like the adrenaline junkie and then the bookworm and all of that. I love that so much. What was
Yeah.
the process like for you of becoming a literary agent?
It was interesting. I mean, honestly, I didn't really know that this was a job that you could be when I was a kid. I just devoured books and I loved them. And I thought, oh, like maybe writing will be a part of my life in some way. Um, I ended up having a variety of jobs. I worked at the National Renewable Energy Labs. I owned my own company. I worked at a ranch in the Rockies. Like, so I've done a little bit of everything. And throughout all of that, books were kind of a consistent. So I decided to go to grad school. I went to Simmons University in Boston and I got a master's degree in children's literature and then an MFA in writing for children. And it was through that process that I really realized the various roles that publishing professionals take and what that can look like. And I interned at publishing houses. I did freelance editorial, and I also started assisting at agencies. And it was just through that I was like, oh, actually, as much as I love like being creative and writing myself, like I feel almost more creatively fulfilled helping others, through that process. And so agenting sort of just called to me with all the flexibility that it offers. And then, every day looks different. There's so much variety, which I really enjoy.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Like day-to-day life of an agent. Like you mentioned, it's changing. So what does a day look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the main consistent thing is I'm always reading and I'm always answering emails.
Sounds right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, those are the through lines, I think, but every day can be a little bit different. Maybe it's an editorial day and I'm heads down and I'm, focusing on trying to get an editorial letter done. Maybe it's a pitch and submission day where I'm really cultivating, pitch and sub lists and trying to get those out or doing research. I could have meetings either with editors or for film and TV or, with authors talking about where they're at with their process. So every day is a little bit different. Everyone's always working on something a little varied and different. So, I could be having a meeting about picture books and then a meeting about like adult horror, like all in the same day. And it's really fun.
Do you find it hard to juggle sometimes, all the different parts of it?
Not really. I feel like it's one of those reasons why this is a good, like, I feel like I'm naturally suited to this because my brain contains a lot of threads all at once. And so I feel like I naturally can flow between a lot of things. Now, of course, when I'm like super stressed, sometimes that gets distracting, but I have my strategies now that I use to sort of help with some of those kind of neurospicy things. But I do think that that's sort of like a natural inclination for me is to kind of hop between all the various things that are kind of coexisting in my brain. And I'm like an organizational freak. Like I have like Airtable, Excel spreadsheets, databases. Like everything is like super documented and organized, so it helps me stay on track.
That's so smart. I love that. Yeah, stay organized because I can only imagine all the stuff that your brain is like constantly filtering throughout the day.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, I can only imagine. Now you mentioned that you read so much throughout the day. Well, first I want to ask, like, as far as like queries go, is that something you do during the day when it's like office hours? Because I've heard there's, different things where it's like, no, those come later and just like at random intervals when I can. When do you get to queries?
Usually it's not during work hours, mostly because work hours tend to be full of like meetings and email, like where we're having to have more immediate exchanges versus the query box. I kind of just like dig in and like put my head down, and it's easier to do that when I have more uninterrupted time. Also, the query box tends to fall a little lower on the priority list because like clients come first. And so my to-do list of all the things I need to do for the week are going to be probably filled within the work hours. Usually it even spills over, like I'm already probably working more than 40 hours a week. So query box naturally just tends to happen during those off times. But I found that I have to be really strategic about when I dig in, which is another reason why sometimes that might be a little slower. Like I don't have an assistant doing that right now, so it's just me. And I want to make sure that I'm not reading queries and evaluating work when I'm tired, because then I don't feel like I'm honoring the submissions as much as they should be. So I want to make sure my brain is fresh and I'm not just like cranky passing on things. Like everyone deserves a really fair shake.
I can appreciate that because I'm like that with replying to messages. Like I'll ignore messages for ages because I want to send something nice. Otherwise, you just kind of want to be like, leave me alone.
That feels right. Okay, now I know why Melanie doesn't message me back. Okay. It makes sense. It all makes sense now. But no, I mean, honestly, that's real. And I
Mm,
value that because
yeah.
especially writers are putting their hearts on the line, sending you queries. And yeah, you want to value that as well because creatives, in all senses of the word, a creative agent, a creative writer, like, we're vulnerable in many ways. So I appreciate that. You read, I can only imagine how many queries you do read.
Mm,
What makes a manuscript stand out to you?
Yeah, I think it really depends on like two things. One, an author can control, and one they can't. But I think it's important to sort of talk about both because querying is such an emotional, stressful process. Like, so the thing that an author can control is that the material is in good shape and the query is clear and enticing and I'm like excited to read more.
mm,
I think I really tend to read a lot for character and voice because I feel like plot tends to follow a lot of familiar archetypes, and what makes those different stories sort of stand out is the unique character emotional stakes and how they're sharing the story through their voice and the writing.
mm,
And then the piece that the author can't control as much is what I'm specifically looking for
Uh,
on my list at any given time. And I say no to a lot of things that are really good and I know will go on to sell, but I just don't feel like I can, for whatever reason, whether I have something too similar to it on my list already, or I feel like at this current moment in time, maybe I just don't have the bandwidth to take on the amount of editorial it needs, or
mm,
I don't have a particular editorial vision for a project. So I think some of that is just about me and it's not about the querier, which I know is very hard to hear, but it also is hopefully reassuring too, because it means that a pass isn't a sign of failure or like poor writing. It's just not the right fit at the right time.
mm. It's something like we've talked about a bit, like that it's just the business side of the industry, and that's why we love hearing from agents and having them on, because like this side of things, it's not personal. It's just literally just business.
And it's so hard because like yes, I do agree that it's like it is such a business
Mm,
brain that sometimes I have to turn on. But I also having like I have queried at one point, I'm not actively writing so much right now myself, but like I understand how emotional and personal it feels to write a book and like how much of yourself you pour into these things. And so, it's twofold. Like, and so that's why I kind of like to say there are these reasons that we're passing that are out of your control, but if you are sort of creating this book that is as good as you feel like you can get it and you're pouring your heart into it, you will hopefully find that right fit at some point. It just might take time. It's hard though.
yeah. No, but I love that. Like you
mm,
will find that fit if you're just doing the work and learning. I love that, honest. I think it's hopeful. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like one pass from one agent doesn't necessarily mean it's from all agents. It's
mm.
just might just not align.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
I
I
get
think that's good.
so many queries. Like, just statistically, if you're a data nerd like I am, like, just statistically, I can't take on, so I could get upwards of 400, 500 queries a month. Like,
Mm,
I've gotten as many as 900 a month. Like, so that's just like one person cannot adequately represent that many projects. So,
mm.
just purely based on time within a day and like the statistics of how many people query it's hard. It's really hard.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. It makes sense.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing that stands out to me the most these days. This industry is not for the faint-hearted. It's for like the big-hearted or like the fiery-hearted, the ones who just like they're like we're here. We have to be here because it like burns in us. And like, yeah, I think if you don't have that, it would be really, really hard to keep going sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
That feels
Mm,
real. Do you ever feel nervous like when you are going to make the call, that
Oh,
the
for
world
sure.
famous call that we all are just, waiting for and hoping for? Do you ever feel the nerves that authors do on the other end?
Totally. I get nervous. I am like a nervous, sweaty person like all the time. So I'm nervous right now. Like I just am. So naturally, anytime that I am, talking to someone and connecting with someone about their work, and I'm going to be a little anxious, especially if there's like a big beauty contest and there's multiple agents offering. And, I feel like when I offer, it's because I feel very deeply and passionately about a project. And I feel like I am the right person to champion it. So I come into it with like a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, and just, I want to make sure that I'm portraying my agenting style, the information about my agency, and like the vision for what I see this author could do with this book, but also with their career accurately. And so it's a lot of pressure sometimes to think about like, oh, I have to cram all of this information into, a call. But I think now that I've done a lot of them, and I've gotten turned down a lot too, because, real talk, rejection is everyone in publishing gets rejected, not just authors. It has sort of leveled out a little bit, but I am always just kind of like an anxious, nervous person. So, but it keeps me human, right? It keeps me humble.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're in good company. Like even after 3 years of doing this, my anxiety still plays up sometimes. I still get sweaty. I still like it's just part of it. But like I have a soft spot for all us sweaty types because we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So worry not. You're in a safe space.
And I find that most people in publishing are so nice that, there's really no need to be super anxious, but like tell that to my autonomic nervous system. I don't know, like you can't control it.
Right? Preach. I hear that so much. I mean, I feel that so much. Something I want to come to before I forget about is being an author overseas in Australia. Something I wonder about a lot is, does an author's location impact choices? Like, does that come into play when you're thinking about offering?
Mostly just in terms of the financial paperwork. I rep clients that live all over the world. I have a client that is in Australia. Well, I have several clients that are in Australia. Just signed someone who lives in India. Like I have people that live all over the world. It's just a matter of making sure the clients are aware of the tax implications of, living in a different country and what that looks like from, a payment or like escrow, or how, how the tax stuff works. And I'm not an accountant, but just in terms of like when they hear an advanced level, like, okay, but this is actually what it will look like when you take into account the tax treaties between the countries. So it's more on the admin side of things versus the like, do I want to rep this person? Because I feel like publishing needs to diversify, and that, different cultures and perspectives are not a monolith, but just within the US. So like we need Black voices from different countries. We need LGBTQ voices from other countries, because we want to make sure that publishing is reflective of so many different types of experiences. So like for me, it feels like part of how I want to build my list is to attract people with all different perspectives.
I love that.
Yep, I do too. I love that so much. And I wholeheartedly agree. Like having diverse perspectives from all over is fabulous and wonderful and so important, and just builds empathy in everybody. And I think that's what we need in this world at this very moment. So thank you for doing that. I think that's wonderful. And I'd never thought of like the tax thing.
Oh yeah.
That one got me. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's fine. Like the tax withholding might be like a shocking percentage, but because of the exchange rate, a client could be like, yeah, it's fine. The exchange rate covers the, but it's really going to be an individual choice based on what a client wants to do. I just like to give them all that information before they say yay or nay.
That is fascinating. See, we are learning a lot today. I wanted to go back to like querying and querying times, because we've heard it just all around how long, people feel like they're waiting, and they really are, and it's just so long. Do you feel like it's just because there's just that many writers out there querying, or is it something shifting in the industry? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I do feel like volume has increased, and I don't know if this is directly tied to the pandemic, but I do feel like a lot of people found a passion for writing when they had more time at home. And so there's like a loose correlation there. Who really knows, but it does seem like there has been an uptick in volume since then, and it hasn't gone down. It seems like there it's year over year, I'm seeing more and more queries. And so that's definitely part of it. The other part too is I think there's kind of a trickle down effect in timings of things. Like everything in publishing has sort of slowed down. We're seeing, and I think this is also a product of the pandemic in a lot of ways, because of just how publishers had to adjust to like working from home and then hybrid working, and just it's not an industry that is very nimble. Like it takes time to figure out how stuff is going to work, and so I think some of this stuff has just been building and is trickling down. So like editors might be taking longer to read submissions, or it might take longer to get things through an acquisitions process. So that means that I have more stuff that sits on submission longer. So I have a hard time taking on new clients when I have a lot of stuff already on submission, which can maybe mean that I'm making some people with fulls that I have wait, because I need to feel like I have an open space to take on a new client, which is honestly where I'm at right now. I have like several projects in my query box that I am very excited about, but I need to kind of strategically make room for them first. And so I'm sorry to the people that are still waiting for me to reply to fulls.
They're listening right now too.
Yeah, I hope you're listening, and you know that I have not forgotten you. I promise. I reply to everyone. And then the other thing too is I am just like, I think in publishing, you always just get busier. So I feel like it's taking me longer the more successful my authors get, which is great. It just means that like a lot of their author care stuff is happening in terms of subrights, film stuff, like marketing and publicity, like making sure I'm helping them manage these processes. And so again, the attention sort of goes there first and then towards queries. So it just there's just not enough hours of the day. And someday I'll have someone help me and I'll be able to kind of get through things faster. But for now, since it's just me, it takes more time.
Yeah, you're doing a million jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, but I love it.
Yeah.
Well, of those million jobs, what would you say is like the hardest part of being an agent?
Oh, I think it's the no's. So having to turn down a query that I think is really strong, or just, having to send that message, or having to pass along a no from an editor, or something where it's like we have no control over it, but I have to deliver the bad news. I feel like that's always so hard, because writing is such an emotional business. And I want all my clients' books to just all sell immediately for lots and lots of money, but it just isn't always the case.
Yes. We're manifesting that for you right now, for all your clients, for all the writers out there. We're manifesting big for you. What has been the best part? What is your favorite part about being an agent?
Probably the exact flip of that, which is the yes. So, like offering for a client and like having that sort of like synergy moment where it feels like we are on the same page. We like the editorial visions aligning. There's just sort of like a spark of, good stuff happening in the partnership. That's always really exciting. And then also saying like your debut book is going to be published. You're going to be an author. Like it's so exciting. And I think so, yeah, it's pretty much the exact opposite of the least favorite thing, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
love it. It
Mhm.
must be such an exciting part of it because that's when you make the dream come true.
Yeah, it's so fun. And I just think that it's because it is an industry that you get so much no, 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 no. Like
Mm.
getting that yes and knowing that there's someone that sees it just feels so good to be a part of that.
That's so
Yeah.
special. Yeah, that's the best. You wear so many hats, and we've mentioned reading even beyond office hours, quote unquote, whatever those
Mm.
mean. How do you deal with burnout? Like, how do you stay away from that, I should say?
Yeah, this is a great question because I don't think I've totally fully figured this out yet, but I do feel like for me personally, spending time outside is huge. So taking, a 3 mile walk with my dog, we usually go about 3 miles at least every day.
Mm.
And that is so great. I noticed that in the winter, I tend to be a little bit more prone to burnout because it's
Mm,
snowing and cold and I can't do those long walks as
Mm.
it's not as enjoyable to do them. So then it's like maybe doing some other type of exercise, like I'm training for a long distance swim. So like I'll go spend 2 hours in a
amazing.
pool, like swimming. So
Mm.
I think for me, it's been taking care of my physical health while also maintaining that kind of balance between like the brain work and the body.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
that's good. Especially because writers, agents, we're sitting so much.
Yes.
So to
Yeah.
get out,
And I
that's
have like I've had a lot of surgeries. I have Ehlers-Danlos. Like I have to do that because otherwise, bad news bears. So it's a necessity, but I've also found that it helps balance everything. And
Yeah.
I just tend to be a happier person.
That's really relatable to me because I also have to do like a bunch of stretches because my nervous system is a tyrant and I have to stretch it out. I have to be outside in nature to reset. Otherwise, I go nuts. But like, it's literally that. It has also forced me to create balance in my life where, like, I mean, people jokingly say touch grass, but like, literally, if I haven't touched grass in a few days, I'm gonna know about it. My nervous system will tell me my anxiety attacks will tell me. They will be like,
Yeah.
girl, get out in the sun and the nature. And it really does that reset for me too.
Yeah. And I think also having a community of people that I spend time with that, and some of those people are book people, which I think is really fun. But I also have like my little gay community in Denver that I connect with. And there's something about having that kind of support too helps with burnout. But
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a work in progress still.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real. That's all of us. That's real. That's for sure real. And yeah, like having your community, somebody to laugh with and joke about beyond publishing is so good. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I hear it. I love it. What advice do you have any advice for authors who are querying?
Yeah, I think definitely like the more amorphous advice is to just like don't give up, keep on keeping on.
Mm,
Even if the first book doesn't work out, like keep writing, keep improving your craft and don't give up if this is a dream. And then maybe the more practical one would be to really target your submissions to agents that you feel like are going to be the best fit and to not just go to someone just because they say they're an agent. No
mm,
agent is better than a schmagent. And I know that it's so easy for me to say this on the other side of the desk, but I've just seen and heard so many really alarming and sad stories about people who just felt like they were so fed up with the querying process that they signed with this person even though they had kind of a bad vibe and but they just wanted to be done with querying and so
Mm.
they did it and then that person was a schmagent and didn't do the
Mm.
job that they were supposed to do. And then that's just really sad. And that's so,
yeah.
do as much due diligence as you can.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard that schmagent.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have introduced you to that because now you're gonna go
No.
like Google it and it's gonna be really scary.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah,
good. It's good
It's
to know
good.
these
it is good
things.
to
It is
know.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would
You
you
don't,
say to authors to look out for a schmagent
Yeah,
lurking in the
I feel like
waters?
we could probably have a whole hour talking about this, but I feel like mostly I would see like who are their clients, what books have they sold,
Mm.
and if they're a newer agent, what agency are they at, and what type of mentorship is that agency providing to them. I feel like there's just so much of the industry that's kind of cloaked in mystery, and it shouldn't be. So if you're talking to someone and they're offering for you and they're not giving you clear answers to like business questions, or if the contract that you're signing with the agency is unfair, or there's some weird language around termination and who holds what rights to things, like really look at that and question the agent and like ask the hard questions, because if they can't answer those, then it's not great.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's really great advice, especially I think for people who are just starting to query in particular, that don't even probably even have like their own whisper network of their own community to warn them. I think that's so good. Well, our time is dwindling, but I want to ask the big question. Are you open to queries at the moment?
So right now I'm currently closed, but I'm open to like referrals. I would say, you know, if you have listeners that are listening and want to query me, mention the podcast in the referred by section and I'll take a look at those queries. But I want to be very like transparent about what I'm looking for. So if you are choosing to query me and you're a listener, I would encourage you to be on the older end of the spectrum. So like YA and adult, because my picture book and middle grade lists are just, they're a little fuller at the moment. I just don't know if I'm have the space to take on as many clients in that space. And so there might be another agent at ABLA that would be better suited to that side of the spectrum.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for opening that up to our listeners. Honestly, that is so fun. We love that.
We love that. And honestly, just thank you for being so like direct, transparent, and authentic. I don't know how else to say it. Like everything that's come out of your mouth has just been very healing, insightful, and like, yeah, this is why we love having agents on, and you were an exceptional guest. So thank you so much. Like seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Part of my goal in working in publishing is to pull back the curtain. I want authors to know more about the business and the industry. And I think so much of it has been cloaked in mystery, and I don't think it needs to be. So I thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Thank you. That's
we enjoyed every second.
We really did. You're welcome back anytime. I would love to hear more about Schmagents and all the things. But yeah, we're going to be cut off any second. So
yeah. Well, thank you, Paige. You're the best.
Well, thank you so much. Love what y'all are doing too.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.